Aaron and I were just laughing about, you have a 16-year-old son. Erin Porter is my guest today, by the way. She's written a book called Eat, Pray, and Get Well. She had horrible, horrible health problems. We could show you pictures. We've done that in the past. She's well now. And she dedicated this book to helping others get well. We're going to talk about all sorts of problems that she went through and biofilms and so forth. But I was just telling her, when you have a grandchild, you have a child now, 10 years from now, when this child gives you a grandchild, and I was saying, and you take that grandchild out and you get ice cream, and did I say that? I meant broccoli. When you take the grandchild out and get broccoli. Biofilms, kind of a new understanding. Unfortunately, our physicians today believe that biofilms are all bacterial. And yet, thanks to Dr. Ghanum and many other doctors who are friends of mine who published this, we're now realizing that many, dare I say, if not most, biofilms are fungal. What are these biofilms?
The analogy I like to use is you're trying to throw stones at a house hoping to kill the people inside. It's a protective barrier. So you have bacteria or fungus inside a cocoon that keeps them safe, so you can throw antibiotics and antifungals at it all day. But if you can't get through that biofilm to get to the bacteria and fungus, then you're not going to get very far. And
I agree with that, and I believe that atherosclerosis is layer after layer after layer of biofilms, you know, in major arteries in the body. And my friend Dr. Costantini alluded to that some 30 years ago in his work. So if you have these things, and I think looking up into your sinuses, you know, the doctors were talking about this, on people's lungs, on their arteries, how do you get rid of them?
well, I became fascinated with this topic a couple years ago, and I wrote about it. If you have sinus infection, especially Pseudomonas or something very hard to get rid of, baby shampoo, Johnson's baby shampoo. Well, that didn't work for me because my biofilms were decades old. So,
are you saying wash your hair with it or eat it?
put it up your nose, irrigate
So you dip
with
a
it.
Q-tip and...
No, you actually put it in like a irrigation bottle.
Really?
And that helps if you were just newly diagnosed with something like Pseudomonas, but because it helps penetrate the biofilms. But if you've had it for many years, which for me, for 7 solid years, I tried to get rid of Pseudomonas, and it would flip between that and staph. But last year, I had a sinus infection for about 6 months, could not get rid of it. And it was a cousin of Pseudomonas. It's called Burkholderia. Very, very difficult.
Bacteria?
And yeah, Burkholderia, it's a cousin of Pseudomonas. And I didn't want to let it get a foothold because fungus is opportunistic. So for 6 months, I actually got desperate and went back to the old ways of nebulizing antibiotics, and wasn't working. And I thought, what am I doing? Everything I've learned. So I thought, okay, what else kills biofilms? So I started putting vinegar, white distilled vinegar in an irrigation. It hurts like crazy, you know,
Acetic
to be
acid,
honest. But
I've heard of that. By the way, don't do this at home without talking to your doctor
right, no,
first.
and I'm not suggesting. I'm just going to tell you what helped me. It changes the pH balance and helps to penetrate those biofilms. And then I started learning about, and this is kind of new, but putting probiotics in your sinuses. Again, I'm not saying, you know, that you should, but I think that's going to be the future. And there's actually a strain of bacteria that people with sinus problems are lacking, probably from the years of antibiotics. And it can actually be found in kimchi. And I'm learning from so many people out there. There's people out there that actually, on a Q-tip, and they'll...
With kimchi, so I know eating it, kimchi is, you know, a bacterial ferment, which I like. But you're saying dip a Q-tip in there and...
Yeah, it actually has a strain called Lactobacillus sakei, I think is how you say it. So people are actually doing that out here because they're desperate. They're going, like me, for surgeries. How many antibiotics can you do before you figure, you know, this is not working, I have to try something else? Well, then everything started changing between, you know, killing those biofilms with colostrum, with natural things, with kimchi and that strain of probiotic, and of course natural antifungals, oregano and all that. And I was able to get to the other side. And it took longer, but giving my body a chance to regain that balance, because I knew I was wiping out the good bacteria every time I did the nebulizer antibiotic. But I was so desperate. The infection was you know, pretty severe.
She's written a book. The book is called Eat, Pray, Get Well. She doesn't expound on that. One thing I have read in the past is when we don't get enzymes, gobblers, nanokinase, bromelain from pineapple, etc., when we're eating packaged and canned food, no enzymes. And enzymes are needed to break up those, you know, patches that we get in our body, these little guys you're talking about. Your book is such a wealth of information, not only the story of being 6 years old and starting the doctor visits, but then the realization that she had to turn to a doctor in Atlanta, a friend of all of ours, Dr. Don Dennis, who's been on the show with you in the past. And then the realization that, wait a minute, I'm in control of this. You know, if it's going to be kimchi, if it's going to be probiotics, work with your doctor, don't just do that. Then so be it, but I need to change my diet. And diet is a huge part of this book. Your story is sad, and yet it made me smile. And your journey has been a good one, and you're now teaching people how to do this. So congratulations.
I'm
really proud of you.
Thank you so much.
You bet.